England, Serbia. So it's been a big weekend in terms of European Championship. We've had many of games, and I think the England game against Serbia was no, I would say it was entertaining, but rather compared to the rest of it, I think it was rather one of the lesser entertaining games. When you look at, there was only 11 shots combined from both teams. In general, it was a game that England heavily disappointed in the fact that they play brilliantly the first 15 or so minutes, 15 minutes ish. They're moving the ball. There's a pattern of play. They're all switching they're all passing and moving. It's a beautiful play. They're dominating possession. They're forcing Serbia into a very, very low block, very narrow. England, they're playing confident. They're playing like they would with their club sides. The confidence was oozing out of them in terms of, quick passing, one-touch passing, tricks, everything. It was a beautiful thing to watch. You saw Foden pick up little pockets in midfield. You saw Jude Bellingham driving the ball forward. You saw Trent Alexander-Arnold not being afraid, even though he's put in the midfield, occupying that right wing-back sort of position, kind of bringing Kyle Walker into that right center-back position for a little bit. It was just, it was very fluid, and it looked like they all, there was a set style of play, a rhythm of play that they were trying to set. And then they're able to get the breakthrough goal, kind of unfortunate if you're Serbian, with the ball deflecting. I believe it deflected off Pavlovic. When Saka crossed it. Bellingham attacks the header. He scores the goal, makes it 1-0. And then from there on, I thought England were very poor in the fact that I thought Serbia were predominantly the main protagonists. I thought England struggled to get possession. I thought England struggled once they win the ball to get out of there and to start an attack on their own. I really think England really, especially in that second half, they really, really suffered. But Serbia weren't able to capitalize because at the end of the day, they just really lacked that cutting edge, that final ball, that final ability to create. There was not much creativity there. I thought Mitrovic could have way more of an impact of the game if he was in the right areas of the pitch. I think there was certain times that I was really frustrated watching Mitrovic, because Mitrovic, with his aerial ability, his finishing ability, he'd be good in the 6-yard area or in that box, but there was times that I saw him outside the box, not really being a threat when the balls were out wide. There was some moments in the game that I saw him out wide. That there was this one play earlier in the first half. Mitrovic was on the edge of the box. They play in a ball, and I believe it ricocheted, and it was the perfect opportunity for a guy like Mitrovic to make one of those runs in. He stays at the top of the box, and for me, it just made no sense to me why he wasn't in between the penalty mark and 6-yard box area, in between those two, in that area whenever the balls were out wide, because there was some good balls played in. But overall, the creativity from Serbia was lacking. I don't know what is the, what was the decision based on Dusan Tadic. I believe there was there was an injury. I believe so. I believe that because I don't understand why he was on the bench. I think he's their most creative player, and he's the guy, their biggest wild card goal threat, and he's the most creative. I think you saw when he came on, he looked very lively. There was one play they won the ball. I think he's the one that won the ball. He's able to make a quick move inside, get past the player, and he plays in a ball to Jovic, who couldn't really control it. I thought he was really, really good. I thought he picked the ball from deep and, was able to, bring play forward steadily as well. But we only got 20 minutes of that. Again, I said what I thought about Mitrovic. I think Vlahovic was not really lively in good areas. I thought in the first half he was pretty poor. There was a few plays he lost the ball, and it could have led to something in transition for England. Trying a diagonal ball of sort. It was not the best day for Vlahovic. I didn't think we get to see what he could do best. in terms of being able to run at defenses with the ball, being able to show his ability of playing on the. We didn't really get to see that from Vlahovic at all. I thought he was pretty poor. I thought Pavlovic was actually very good, despite the the deflection leading to a cross. Yes, Bukayo Saka did torch that right or left hand side of the defense. But I thought Pavlovic, especially in the second half, was very good in terms of joining in the attack and retaining possession and being a factor. I thought he had good energy levels, going back and forth. I thought Pavlovic was impressive, really impressive for Serbia. That Milinkovic-Savic was very poor. I don't like what areas in the pitch he was in. I think there was a few moments he made really rash fouls, and that's the problem with the Serbian team too. There was a lot of times that they fouled, especially when they were down the stretch late in the games, whenever they're chasing it, just fouling in bad moments and, giving England a break, giving them a way out. They played a physical game, which is beautiful because, it's kind of what Serbia's game is. But in terms of just dumb fouls, I thought it was really poor by them, in my opinion. But yeah, England, this Serbian team had a really sort of cutting edge. I think England really should have been made to pay for that performance. Look, Trent Alexander-Arnold, in my opinion, brilliant player, and you could argue put him in at right back because I think he's the most talented player in this England squad. Some would say Foden. Maybe some would say Bellingham, but for me, Trent is the most talented player in the squad. And if you want to get him in there, okay, play him out right back or play him out right wing back or something. But putting him in midfield, I don't think you get what he does best. Number one, when he plays, his best ability is just in general. His best ability is being on that right hand side, being able to whip in a ball, whip in a cross with his right foot. That is his best ability. And playing in midfield, he doesn't really provide that. When he's receiving the ball from the defense back to goal, he's not a midfielder that can quickly turn and scan and play that ball. That's not really his game, And yes, he can make those intricate passes being a midfielder, but I don't think it's his game to. It's not the ball that I don't think is the problem when he's back to goal. It's the fact that he's not the best. He's a little slow when he's trying to control the ball and then turn around and scan. That's not really what he does. That's not like, there's better players in this England squad than that. And defensively, he doesn't really provide you defensive, guile in that midfield. I thought there were certain times that he lost the ball in that first half. That you could tell he is a makeshift midfielder. In fact, Serbia's best opportunity of the game came from a Trent Alexander-Arnold turning the ball over in the midfield area. Eventually led to Mitrovic, who whooped in a shot right at the top of the box, just narrowly wide. So that was a concern. I think I don't understand how Harry Kane survived that game in terms of being on the pitch from the beginning to the end. I thought after 55, 60th minute, especially you're going through the period of Serbia just completely, not dominating, but having majority of the possession, majority of being the protagonist. You're realizing, okay, this is a transition game for England. We need someone to take this game over in transition. You got guys with pace on the bench like Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney that can run in behind and that can really, make the Serbian backline, give them issues defending while pushing up the field because they're chasing the goal. And instead, Harry Kane survives the entire 90 minutes. I don't understand why. And by the way, if you're going to be in this sort of situation where, like it's so obvious that you need this kind of player, that you need to bring in somebody like Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins, and you're still going to stick with a guy like Kane despite that, why would you bring Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney then? Why bring them on the squad? Why don't you bring in an extra left back just, on Trippier's side? Why don't you bring in an extra left back or bring in, I don't know, somebody in midfield? Well, why bring those two if you're not going to use them when you need to use them the most? Like, I understand bringing at least one because you need to provide protection for Harry Kane, somebody to rest. well, like the third group stage game, if it's already done and dusted by that point, or somebody that can come in late if you want to use him and all that. But if if it's such an obvious position, and Harry Kane has been poor throughout the game, throughout the first 60, 70 minutes, and you're still not willing to bring in somebody, then why bring two strikers at all, or three strikers in general? Like, it makes no sense to me, and it's really disappointing because Gareth Southgate kind of went off. They got eliminated in the World Cup against France, but the last international tournament, they went out, I guess, in the right way, in terms of that they were willing to go toe-to-toe with France. And even though there was major concerns after the U.S. game, it was generally mostly positive at that last World Cup not in terms of Southgate. There's still people that want him gone, but in terms of him being so pragmatic. And the Euros, at the end of the World Cup, it was bad. So we think, okay, they're trying to take the Gareth Southgate and learn from his mistakes. He approached the France game the way that English fans want him to go, and then you see this. And at the end of the day, Gareth Southgate, I think Gareth Southgate is halfway to blame, because again, as a manager, you should be pushing your players on. Stop getting sucked. Stop getting deep and push them on. Get up 10, 15 yards and stop playing so narrow, so compact. Play out. Stop being so defensive. But at the same time, these players, this is not the players kind of have responsibility too, in the fact that they were allowed themselves to get sucked in. They allowed themselves to get narrow, to get pushed back, and they have to have the confidence to play out. It seemed like the confidence was oozing in that first 15 minutes, and then in the last 60, it seemed like same old, the England badge is too much for the players, too much pressure on them. The crowd maybe is getting to them, and they're really feeling the pressure, and it really seemed that way. I thought Bellingham continued to stay confident, in my opinion, in the fact that he was still driving in through multiple players, not afraid to drive in midfield. But I thought Foden, I thought he was really poor in midfield. A couple sloppy balls gave away. We didn't see much for him. We didn't see Walker, Trippier bomb up the field like we see normal. Again, Trippier, he's not really he can't really provide much for you going forward because of the fact that it's on his weak foot. But still, there was none of that. They were really sucked in, and it's bad. And Jared Bowen coming in. Jared Bowen, in my opinion, I thought was a guy that wouldn't play a single minute at the tournament. I thought he was one of those. Comes in and he's playing the opening game. He's the first bench or second sub off the bench. And yes, he had that one moment and he created that cross that led to the Harry Kane opportunity. But, you got the likes of Cole Palmer with what he's done. Now, yes, you're not really going to, playing him on the right-hand side. He's really a midfielder, but he could play on the right-hand side, cutting in with his left foot. I don't know. I think this England team kind of, showed me what I've already known from the beginning, and that this team is not good enough to win the European Championship, and that the fact that they're favorites entering it, according to some of the major bookies, is just a flat out like a way to. They've always flattered to deceive, and they've deceived people again. They're not anywhere near contenders, and it's the same story with the English national team. Short break here coming up. When we come back, I'm gonna discuss